In a sun-drenched valley, a gentle donkey named Benny lived a life of quiet contentment. His companion was an old farmer with kind eyes and even kinder hands. Every day was a rhythm of simple tasks and shared moments of peace under the shade of an old oak tree. Benny's world was safe and filled with love. But one day, the old farmer closed his eyes for the last time, and Benny's world shattered. He was given to a new owner, a man whose heart was as hard as the rocky fields he worked. This man saw Benny not as a living creature, but as a tool. He piled heavy loads on Benny's back, far more than he could bear. He worked him from sunrise to sunset, offering only curses instead of water and a few scraps of dry straw instead of a proper meal. The joy vanished from Benny's eyes, replaced by a deep, aching sadness. His once strong legs grew weak, and his soft coat became matted and dull. He was utterly alone, his spirits slowly breaking under the weight of endless cruelty. Every night, as he lay shivering in a dilapidated shed, Benny would look up at the stars and pray for just a little bit of the kindness he once knew. Far away, in another quiet corner of the countryside, lived a farmer named Marcus. Marcus was a man who understood loss. He had once had a family, but they were gone now, leaving behind a silence that was almost as heavy as the loads Benny carried. His only companion was Scout, a loyal dog with watchful, intelligent eyes. They lived a simple, solitary life together, till lonely souls finding comfort in each other's presence. One scorching afternoon, as Marcus was mending a fence at the far edge of his property, he felt a sharp, searing pain in his leg. He looked down and saw 2 small puncture marks a venomous snake had bitten him. The world started to spin, and a wave of fire shot through his body. He collapsed to the ground, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Scout, sensing the immediate danger, began to bark frantically. He ran to the nearby road, barking at every passing cart and traveler, begging for help. But people just glanced over, thinking it was just another noisy farm dog, and continued on their way. Desperation filled Scout's heart. He couldn't let his master die. Then, a thought sparked in his clever mind. He remembered seeing a donkey in a nearby field. With a new sense of purpose, Scout raced across the fields until he found Benny standing listlessly by a fence. He barked and nudged Benny's leg, urging him to follow. Despite his own weakness and exhaustion, Benny saw the pure panic in the dog's eyes. Something deep inside him, a flicker of the gentle spirit he once was, responded to the desperate plea. Slowly, painfully, Benny followed Scout back to where Marcus lay unconscious. With Scout's guidance, Benny knelt down, allowing the dog to somehow help heave Marcus onto his back. The weight was immense, and every muscle in Benny's frail body screamed in protest. But he didn't stop. He thought of the kind old farmer, of the gentle hands he missed so much. This man needed help, and for the first time in a long time, Benny felt a sense of purpose. With Scout trotting ahead, clearing the path and barking encouragement, Benny began the long, arduous journey to the town. Each step was a battle. His legs trembled, his vision blurred, but he kept going. He plodded on, one hoof in front of the other, driven by a primal instinct to save a life. Passers-by who had ignored Scout's barks now stopped and stared, witnessing this incredible sight: a half-starved donkey carrying an unconscious man, led by a determined dog. When they finally reached the town, a crowd gathered. The doctor was called, and Marcus was rushed inside for treatment. Benny, his task complete, collapsed onto the dusty street, his body finally giving into exhaustion. When Marcus woke up, the first thing he saw was Scout's worried face. The doctor explained what had happened, how his loyal dog and a mysterious, weak-looking donkey had saved his life. Marcus's heart filled with a profound gratitude. He asked to see the donkey, and when Benny was brought to him, Marcus saw the story of his suffering written in his sad eyes and scarred body. He saw the marks of a heavy harness, the thinness of his frame, and the deep weariness that clung to him. When Benny's cruel owner came to claim him, Marcus stood firm. "This donkey is not going back with you," he declared, his voice full of a new strength. "He saved my life. He's staying with me." He paid the man far more than Benny was worth, not for the donkey, but for the right to give him a new life. From that day on, a new family was formed. Marcus, Scout, and Benny. Marcus nursed Benny back to health with warm mashes, fresh hay, and gentle hands that reminded Benny of the kindness he thought was lost forever. Benny's coat grew soft and shiny again, his eyes regained their light, and his spirit began to heal. He would spend his days grazing peacefully in Marcus's green pastures, with Scout always nearby, a faithful guardian and friend. The silence in Marcus's life was replaced by Benny's contented brays and Scout's happy barks. They were three broken souls who, through an act of incredible courage and loyalty, had found each other and become whole again. Their story became a quiet legend in the valley, a beautiful reminder that even in the darkest of times, kindness is a light that can never be fully extinguished, and that sometimes the greatest strength is found in the gentlest of hearts.